Welcome, everybody, to the Rod Life, the only talk radio show that takes you along with host and age explorer Rod Gantos on his continuing journey of discovery into life's challenges, opportunities, options, and all the latest and greatest things that come with getting older. The Rad Life is brought to you this week by Your Home for a Lifetime, a company dedicated to empowering you to stay safely, independently, and comfortably in your own home. And now here is your host, Rod Gantos.
You were not in it, though.
You're not in it.
No, it's okay. We'll take another selfie. Kathy's going to take a selfie first.
Yeah,
Come on,
please
we're
do.
already on the air. Come on, let's take a selfie.
Yeah, let's take a selfie.
Come on,
Start with a
no.
selfie.
You cut yourself off.
That's great.
We can always take time for a selfie.
Hi there.
Okay, hold on. The mic is in my face. Let's do it again.
Okay.
Oh, my goodness.
Again.
We're on the air, people are watching the video, and you're
Okay,
taking selfies.
Okay.
So, see, we live in a world where it's always time for a selfie.
Yep.
Okay. It's all about me. That's baby boomers, right, Paul?
Yeah, it seems like it today, yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Did you take a picture of Paul?
No.
He's a baby boomer.
Nobody
He's
gets a
running the
picture.
board. If you don't take a picture of Paul, we might have a problem. Technical difficulties may occur.
No.
So
Nobody
that
gets a
means
picture,
he's going to
Paul.
be our future client?
Hey, boom!
Okay. Okay.
Wow.
Let's start.
All right, so for whoever's joining us and wondering what the heck is going on the Rad Life today,
Yeah,
let me
right.
introduce my guests. Okay, I've got to my right, Mr. Hani Fawaz, and in front of me, the lovely Kathy Naghbouleh. And did I say that right?
Naghbouleh.
Naghbouleh. Okay, so there you go.
You pronounce my name right.
I
Fawaz.
put the
screwed up the
emphasis
money
on the right syllables.
Hani
Yeah.
Fawaz.
Yeah. So Hani is one of my people, and so that's why I know how to pronounce it. And Kathy is not too far away, but Naghbouleh.
Naghbouleh.
I didn't realize the EH was A. So.
Uh-oh, something
Right.
fell out there.
And
I better
something
go-
fell?
Right, I better go check.
Okay. No, don't.
Because you mispronounced my name, but that's all right.
Paul Robert? John Smith is on the control board. Okay.
It's Smythe.
Smythe? Okay, John Smythe. So, this lady and gentleman are here because they are involved in the Syrian industry, and that's why we were making a derogatory comment.
About
But a supportive one.
the poster child for the senior movement.
To
here
the senior
today.
movement who's sitting behind the board every week diligently. You are actually a very active poster child of the baby boomer
I try to
generation.
be.
You know that?
I try to be.
Yeah, Paul is for you, Kathy and Hanny. You don't know Paul as well as I do, which is fortunate for you. but-
Come on. Get easy on the guard. Come on.
no. We do this all the time.
Okay.
I remember when I walked in one time. This is a joke that everybody's heard, who's been listening to the show has heard many times. But I said to him, "You're kind of like my Robin." And he said, "Oh, like Batman and Robin." I said, "No, Howard Stern and Robin."
Oh my God.
Okay.
So,
Since then, I crossed my
so
legs.
Paul is actually a very good example of an active baby boomer. He reinvented himself. What is it? 5 years ago, Paul?
Oh,
6
more
years
than
ago.
that. 6, 7 years.
When
ago,
did you
yeah.
do the radio station? When you started the radio station?
I had been in PR for 20 years. That collapsed in the Great Recession, and I thought, I got to do something. I'm in my mid-50s. What the heck am I going to do? And I discovered podcasting, which is like what I'd done as a kid, real radio, terrestrial radio. And I thought, I could do this. And I started dabbling with it around 2010 and opened the station here in 2013. Way after, you guessed it. She saw it way earlier than I did.
Well, I was going to say, you and Kathy have something in common.
That's true.
Okay, so Kathy, let's start with you because we do this as part of the beginning of every show is background of the guest. So what is that common thing that you have with Paul? But you actually were ahead of him.
Well, I don't know. I started when I was started when I was 17, actually. And I was just hosting a show and have a live 3 to 5 hours program almost every day.
Wow. And
On
was
the
it
internet?
On the internet.
the
No,
internet,
no. When I was, come on. When I was 17, this is like about 33 years ago.
I think Paul was paying a compliment. Too. Well done, Paul Robert.
Good job. Yeah.
Smythe, good going, Smythe.
No, the internet radio, we did it back in 1999. And we just had very short hours of live because back then barely anybody had any internet or barely anybody knew anything about
Right.
internet,
And-
especially radio.
Well, and for those people that basically now simply turn on their Facebook and hit the live feed and basically do a live broadcast on Facebook, why don't you tell people what it used to cost
Oh.
to actually do?
$1 million.
$7,000 a month was my major fee that we were paying to AT&T
For the connection and
for
the bandwidth.
connection,
Yeah.
for the
Wow.
T1 and all those.
We
and
pay
then-
twice that here. I'm just to impress you. We pay twice that
Oh.
here.
But for how many shows?
No,
And for how long?
It's 3 hours.
We
only.
paid hundreds, not thousands.
Yeah, it was crazy, right? I mean, for those who remember those covered wagon days of the internet, it was crazy.
Not only that, it was crazy, but the major thing was that it was too new that you have to learn everything. I mean, I remember posting the picture as it is right now, and it take you 2 seconds. I remember back in 1999, I got my first digital camera, which my husband got me because I wanted to start selling online and start selling on eBay, which it was
In
getting
1999.
1999.
Wow,
Really
that is advanced.
It took me good almost 3 months. I interviewed a lot of people. They couldn't even. I mean, we talked
Yeah.
to eBay many times because I wanted to find a way to how to take the picture. Then you have to download the pictures into your computer and then transfer it and then send it to eBay, which was every post that I was putting,
Yeah.
it would taking me like easy 2-3 hours.
Wow.
For the first- yeah.
Kathy, I remember I was online in '94. The first time I got really kind of
You guys were
online
all
was in
early
'94. We were
adapters
still
here.
we were still talking about bulletin boards, not chat rooms.
Yeah.
Right. And there was nothing but text, and almost like writing in BASIC and Fortran for those who know computer language, right? We were paying $1 a minute on AOL, $1 a minute on AOL, and trust me,
Exactly.
we've spent
Yeah.
a lot of dollars on AOL. Okay,
That's right.
and I have the bills to prove it somewhere. The crazy thing about Earthlink. I remember getting my email address. My first email was at
We'll have
Earthlink-
these in the show
Earthlink-
notes, kids, if you want to go look up things like Earthlink and AOL.
Well, Earthlink is
Have them in
still
the show
around.
notes here.
No, Earthlink is still around.
Earthlink's still around.
Yeah, and they absorbed a whole bunch of companies across the country. They're still around. Earthlink used to be 2 guys in Pasadena in '94. Literally 2 guys in Pasadena, and I would call and I would talk to him or him. Basically,
Yeah.
right. It was fascinating. People don't realize that what we do today and how things have changed, and how things continue to change in everything. I mean, we talked about Paul, reinventing himself as technically a senior at 55 or mid 50s, and how his aging is basically different from what his parents' aging was like, right? I mean, in everything, and there's this continuous learning component. Like he's probably learning something every day on what he has to do here, provide the service and the support for all these shows. How many shows do you have on this station, Paul?
About 26 now.
26
like that.
shows.
26 shows, yeah.
Wow.
Something
Okay.
like that.
I've never asked you this, but I have assumed it. So maybe you can tell me. Not only are you probably more
I'm not gay. That's okay. No. I didn't know what you...
we support the LGBT community here wholeheartedly. So
I didn't know what you were going.
and
driving
Paul
to.
does too. He's just being Paul, right? He's just being Paul. So
You've never asked me what.
no, what I've never asked you is, I know you probably would say that you are enjoying this, and this as a business / hobby / nostalgic walk back down memory lane, what you did in college, because people who've listened know that you ran a radio station at the University of Michigan, right?
Right.
Yeah, and so you're probably having a lot more fun doing this than you were doing prior to the Great Recession.
Absolutely. I say this is the most fun I've ever had. One of the reasons is I didn't know there was still another act to come. I thought it was just in that long
An encore
I
act.
thought it was in the fade to black phase of my life here, where it just fades out like at the end of the movie. And I say that this is the most fun. I also didn't know that I'd be cool and relevant again. Too many people at this age think, well, I can't do anything cutting edge. I can only do things... the cutting edge is only for the young, and this is a field where anybody can.
Well, especially
jump in.
in a society where we especially California, where everything is young and there's sort of old people are supposed to be not maybe heard, not even heard or seen, just put them away, But so the question I've never asked you,
Yeah,
because I've assumed you're having more fun than you've ever done.
I
right?
really am. In
Yeah.
many ways, this is the most fun I've ever
So
had
my
in my life.
following question is twofold. One is financial.
Uh-huh.
Are you financially having a successful second career doing this?
Absolutely, and in many ways more successful than anything I've ever done. I've had moments where I made more money, but success isn't just
Right,
measured
and
on-
that's why I said success, not
Yeah.
fine. Yeah, right.
And I think an opportunity. When I started this, I'll give you an interesting quick story. A couple of years ago, somebody walked. We have about 26 shows here. Obviously, we charge to rent the studio time to you and to others. And they're like a typical AM radio station. Then we stream it out, turn it into a podcast, and we sell ads around it. So it's a business model. And somebody came in a couple of years ago, was fascinated with what we're doing, and the guy said, "What if I gave you $1 million today? What would you do with it?" He said, "I'm not saying I will, but how would you invest it? What would you do with it to grow it?" I said, "Grow it? I thought this is just like my last act.
Last hurrah.
I didn't know there was growth." And I started thinking, do we open up Long Beach Talk Radio, a Persian Talk Radio?
And you and I have talked about it before, like what else could be done with it. And you know what's interesting is you just proved what I thought was the case. Thank you for sharing that. The other thing I want to ask you is, how has that been to have this sort of purpose, to find this purpose, pursue something that's a passion of yours, and then finding out that that now your life has more potential. How's that reflected on?
Unbelievable. And I'll give you, not to get too deep and dark too quickly here, but my wife recently got laid off. 27 years at the bank.
Oh no, I'm sorry, dude.
And she's in her late 60s, and they just wiped out her whole job category. She was in a kind of auditing position that they decided they don't need anymore. She and a bunch of others got laid off, and she can't find a job. Because she puts down on her resume, I got 20, 30 years of experience. You think people would jump at it. Instead, they don't even call her back. And she's like, I'm not ready to quit yet. One, we could still use the money. And two, she doesn't want to sit home and just watch TV. She's still vibrant and young and healthy and alive and loves being with people and loves doing something.
So when is Mrs. Smythe joining the crew?
She may have to, yeah. But it's amazing because we've gone through the opposite. I thought my life was over. When the Great Recession hit, my business got wiped out, and I thought, I'm done. And I'm never going to I'll be working at Walmart or something here asking if you want fries with that order. I didn't think there was a potential to start something in my mid-50s. And she's, having been in a corporate world, either going to have to transition to something where she does something on her own or get somebody to take a chance on her at this later age, if that's the truth. I think 70 is the new 50.
Well, and there's a lot of wealth of knowledge and a lot of brain power that basically, unfortunately, society
doesn't value.
The way we're programmed does not value, which is unfortunate, and I will say it's stupid waste.
Can I give you a really shocking article?
Really quick, because I need to get back to this.
Yes, I know you guys are here. I just read an article in the Atlantic magazine, which I usually read. It's a fairly liberal and very insightful magazine. I was furious. Somebody wrote an editorial in there saying basically that Bernie and Elizabeth Sanders and Joe Biden, give it up. You're too old. Let somebody young take the lead here. Your time has passed. Go. They literally said Bernie should run like a hostel down in Nicaragua or something, and everybody else should just sit back and just be happy to show up at a parade or something. It was a very nasty article saying that the young people, it's time for us to take over, and I'm like, since when? So we're all supposed to stop at 65 or 70?
But you know what's funny is society actually does the same thing for people that are young. Oh, you're too young to do this, or you're too young to do that. And every one of us has gone through that. And it's really funny that we do the same thing almost full circle when it gets to somebody who's older.
Yeah.
Right? So
we don't want anybody that's 20. We don't want anybody that's 70. We're only fit to work at McDonald's.
Well, and not necessarily work, but be productive. Provide a value, right? To have purpose.
And I think that's what the baby boomers are already redefining. We're not ready to quit. We're not ready to sell our homes and move to a retirement community. Okay. We're not ready to give up yet. And yet, we have to make some accommodations. There's some changes because of our age, but we're not ready. So
you're basically once again living the poop label, which is basically pissed off old people.
Yeah.
Okay, right? He termed that. That's all Paul Roberts.
We used to be hippies, then we became yuppies, the opposite. Now we're full of poop.
He comes in and he says, "We're poop." I said, "What do you mean you're poop? You're pissed off old people."
Oh yeah.
Right,
and that's the way most people view
it.
But
and yes, as baby boomers, you guys have shaped a lot of stuff, and I think you will probably shape aging as well at this point, especially if you harness that anger of being sort of marginalized and devalued.
Right.
Right. So with that, we have established one thing so far in the show, right? That your aging today has nothing to do with how people aged before.
That's the truth.
And everybody who's out there that's providing service, and let's bring it back to our guests, who are providing service and care or any kind of connection with the senior industry, that is still delivering on that product and service the same way they've been delivering for the last 20 years, would you agree
they're full of poop?
They're full of poop? Well, we at the very least we have a transition of profile, right? We have people that are of that older generation that are going through the support and care system for seniors, but we also have this incoming group that are more like Paul. And the industry, from what I have seen, is slow to react. Maybe there's a fear factor, maybe there is a risk factor. How many places that are senior care, for example, are providing, I don't know, CBD-based, products, right? They're incorporating maybe more holistic approach to caregiving, more vertically integrated services. The programs that are offered through anything from board and care to assisted living are more reflective of what people, if somebody is now 65, 70, very easily, when they were in their 40s, they may have basically taken a yoga class once a week.
True.
So if you don't have a program in the facility that basically connects them to that quality of life and lifestyle that they already have as part of their regimen of wellness, and we're trying to fit them into, no, go sit at that table that has the laminated tabletop, and there's a disconnect. So you guys,
can I give you a perfect example?
Paul, no, not right now.
Okay.
Sorry, I need to get this in. Right. So I would like you for both to take a moment and share background a little bit, and then how did you find yourself getting involved in the senior industry? Because I always find that there's a personal story for people who are in this position where they are involved in senior care. There's usually some sort of personal reason how they got involved. So, Hani, if you will start us off.
Yeah. I'm a pharmacist by profession, and I was all my life working in the senior industry. A pharmacist, I have to deliver medication to people and all of this stuff. So I moved actually to California about 8-9 years ago. When I found that I cannot use my license, which I had from Egypt, I'm Egyptian, in here. In
different medical boards.
So I have to make a test for 2 years and do studies, and when I decided, no, enough for studying, I have to do something still related to my background.
What your field is.
When I started the first by home care, providing caregivers for seniors still. And then I moved to hospice and home health business, which still was related to seniors. Yeah. Until Kathy and I met, and we decided to start our, new type of business, which is board and care homes for seniors. And then when we came with Queen's Homes,
what's the website, by the way, Henny?
It's
Our Queen's Home.
Our Queen's.
OurQueensHomes.com.
With an S, Homes? Okay.
Ours, OURS, Queens, QUEENS, Homes, HOMES.com.
Okay. All right. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
So when we started this, and that was about almost 3 years ago, where we found really there's a big need of professional people to get into this industry, like doctors, physicians, pharmacists, people who have the heart and who have the knowledge to support. It's not only having a house with seniors.
So board and care is not a new industry. So you're saying that the majority of those offerings are not basically provided by people that are medical professionals or involved in the medical field?
No, okay. It was not, and up till now it's not. Anybody can start a business like board and care home, senior home, which from my point of view is okay, no problem.
Is it the regulations, Hani? Because with board and care, it's 6 beds or less. The regulations are a little bit more, how should we put it? Flexible.
Flexible, yes.
Than a larger.
Yes. All what you have to get is an RCFE license, which you go for the test, for the board test.
And the RS, what is the license? What's the acronym?
Residential care for elderly.
Okay.
So, which I got easily, and I found myself really giving a lot because of my background and my knowledge about how to deal with seniors. The medication component in senior homes is really something serious.
Absolutely, and there's a lot of medical overprescription and abuse.
Exactly. And this is what we found when I was started in board and care, because lots of medication are being given to seniors or our residents, and many times there are contradictory medication, which comes by sometimes by mistake. Different physicians, different doctors prescribing different things, and then suddenly one medication stopped the effect of something. So this is what I was focusing in, and up till now, it's our marketing point niche that I'm a pharmacist. I have background which can do, help into this thing. Still, also there's so many other things. Regulations by licensing is a lot. And you have to go do a lot of paperwork, a lot of taking care of the seniors, a lot of taking care of the place itself, the house itself, and how it's good, and how it's hygiene, and how it smells, and all of this stuff.
Well, and there's ambulatory and non-ambulatory. I mean, there's multiple categories. Yeah, absolutely.
Really.
Yeah.
And through these 3 years, really, I got lots of more experience. I built my experience in senior homes,
Right.
Particularly. So Kathy and I are really doing a lot of work. We are almost every single day in our homes. We are not just a business owner who comes and end of the month collecting checks and all. No. We are every day there, hands-on. Take care of our residents. We know them by name, of course. We know their history. We know their families. We know what kind of medication they're taking. So we are handling this thing is really, we have the heart. This is what I want to say. It's not starting a business of boarding care homes. No, you have to have the heart. You have to be in it. You have to want to do it. Because it's a lot of work, a lot of responsibility, and you have to invest a lot of your time. Your phone have to be on 24/7.
And for the person that's actually looking to basically place a loved one or a family member into a facility, right? Whether it be a boarding care or more medical attention in a specialized, let's say, dementia or memory care or what have you. This is not a cheap. I keep saying this to everybody. This is not a cheap proposition. This is a costly thing. Even if you find a deal, the deal is in the thousands on a monthly basis, right? So it is important that you not only are out of desperation grabbing whatever is close by, which in a lot of cases it's convenience based, that people will place people within 15 miles or 15 minutes so they can stay connected with them, right? And have their lives less disrupted, although there's a disruption. But also there's an actual bottom line dollars and cents thing. And so you should be very particular and critical and selective in where you basically spend your money and have that person who loved one cared for, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's true. And you will find there's a lot of, I would say, market segments and parts. You will start with very low cost till very high cost. And the cost is not how much money you are making and putting in your pocket at the end of the day. No, it's how much you are giving and investing to make this place looks good. It's the quality of caregivers, by the way.
Yes.
This is a big also thing in our industry. The caregivers and how they are
Well, and
qualified.
caring for the caregiver too, right?
Exactly,
Because
that's
that's a very draining profession.
Expensive.
And
They are when you have the good ones, they are expensive.
Yeah.
So, and this is the most important thing.
Yeah.
How good your caregivers are to take care of the residents and seniors and all of this stuff. So we are investing time, money in it as much as we can. Kathy and I.
So, Kathy, how did you find yourself? Because we talked about at the beginning that you were a pioneer in the internet radio stuff. But and are you feeding live on your phone?
Yes, I am.
Okay, give me your phone so that I can catch you. So for everybody, see, we're just switching to now Kathy being on the spotlight. So how did you find yourself getting into the senior industry?
Well, first of all, I'm an entrepreneur, and I always like to explore and see what is going to give me more challenge in life. And when I sold my business as a wholesaler bakery back in 2011, I was looking to see what would be the next trend in the industry.
Where was your bakery, by the way?
I had a wholesaler bakery in Costa Mesa.
Okay.
And so after studying and find out that these baby boomers who have the great life, they've been always very much active and had a good life and good money and good saving. Now they are going to the age of retirement.
Yeah.
And they don't want to be in ordinary places, and they don't want to be in places that the kids feel like that. I don't want to have a feeling that I'm just throwing my mom or dad in a dark or boring or ugly place and feeling like, oh my God, why am I doing that? And then hiring caregiver and obviously being 24 hours with the caregiver at home, it's not going to be easy. So I did a lot of study, did go and check a lot of homes, and I did go and check a lot of bigger facility. Of course, when you're on independent living, your life is completely different. You're still driving, you still can walk and talk and
Right.
socialize. But when you get to the age and the point that you have dementia, Alzheimer,
You have to be cared for.
memory care, you don't even remember
Yeah.
go to the bathroom
Yeah.
or shower, so you need more care.
yeah.
And that is the time that you need to be in the places that you will have like 24 hours care.
Yeah.
So we decide to have homes.
And
that-
sometimes it's not possible to do that in your own home or in a
it
relative's
is
home.
not. I
Yeah.
mean, as much as you get all the cares that
Yeah.
you wanted, as much as you get all the attention and the best caregiver, which people there is a wonderful caregiver out there, and go to your home and take care of you. But there is still a lot of things that having the professional or someone who's trained to be
Yeah.
taking care of the
Yeah.
older people
Yeah.
are not going to be looking after you.
And by the way, to all of us, I'm going through this myself right now, and not to that level yet. But for anybody who's dealing with an aging parent or a relative that's aging, and you're sort of in the role of primary kind of caregiver or primary, like responsibility making some of these decisions, or helping them guide them to that because they're not in a point of dementia or unable to make their own decisions. These are not simple decisions. These are ones that also have an emotional cost. They drain you. They impact your life. You don't realize how much it is something that's an adjustment. You don't even realize how much patience you really may have or may not have. So in a lot of cases, when you get to that point, it may be okay to step away from feeling guilty that you cannot be the provider of those service and care, and actually reach out to somebody like these guys here, or caregivers that would then basically be able to help you better provide. Because it's not a reflection on you as the relative or the son or the daughter that you are unable to provide that level for your parent or for your loved one. It just requires a different level of care. And sometimes that is not possible in your own home. As much as you may want to be there for them,
Not only it's not possible, even the cost of having 24 hours care, it's getting very expensive.
Absolutely.
I mean, you have to have like at least 2 or 3 shifts. Sometimes people only have like one shift, which the caregiver come in the morning and leave in the afternoon.
help a little bit with the house, and then
What is going to happen after that,
Right.
the caregiver leave? Do you want it to leave your loved one home alone? Do you know if they're going to be
right. Who's on
wander
call?
around
Who's
and
on
they
call
are-
then? Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you wanted to give up your own life and be as a caregiver there.
So we really have to be realistic. Is what I'm trying to say. Is in a lot of cases we make these decisions emotionally. But you're not necessarily making that decision for everybody's best interest if you're only making it emotionally. There has to be a certain practicality in how this fits into your life. You may have other responsibilities. You may have kids, your personal relationships, your marriages. There's a drain. There's a pressure that comes added into this when you are caring for somebody. So do not take it lightly. Paul, you're signaling to me like you want to say something.
Yeah, well, obviously, I went through this with my aunt last year when she was 94, never got married. I'm her only living relative, and I had to take care of her when she couldn't take care of herself anymore. And she didn't have any money, and I didn't have the money to spend $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a month to put her into a nursing home, and she didn't want to go into a nursing home. So it was the worst of both worlds. And when it became clear she had to do something, I discovered this world of board and care. I don't know why it's not talked about ever. This was out in the desert. We found one. It's a home. There's 3 or 4 people living there, not 300. So your ratio of caregivers to loved ones is much higher. And they're in a real house, in a real neighborhood. It was wonderful. It was magical. And it was far less expensive. So it was the best of all worlds. Better care, better experience, better price.
So what you've been involved in this for 3 years, right? Mm-hmm. And just to give everybody a sense of where in Orange County.
Yeah, in Orange
Right?
County.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things that you have seen over the course of the last 3 years relevant to this that you can see where this thing is going? Because like we said at the beginning, the industry is changing. The way you provide the care is changing, right? I mean, it's still care.
True.
But the people that are coming in before may have been feeling very fortunate to have a place. You have a little bit more of a, how should we put it without insulting Paul? A little bit more
Go ahead.
particular Particular, was that okay for you?
Why?
A particular incoming guest.
Oh, they're picky.
Okay?
They're demanding.
Picky and demanding. They're poop,
that's-
basically.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're pissed off old people, but they're people that have they're coming from a different definition of quality of life. And they're trying to have some connection, if not in 100% the same. So what are you seeing, Henny and Kathy? What are you guys seeing in the board and care side of things in Orange County that is starting to reflect maybe some of that?
You mean
Is it,
who's coming in?
well, no, I mean, are the facilities starting to reflect that? Are you starting to have to incorporate a different approach to your programming? You know, and again, to preface it, depending on the level of care and where the person is in that. But 6 beds or less,
Correct.
board and care.
Right.
What are you guys seeing?
As a matter of fact, there's so many factors. First of all, I want to say something about different cultures.
Okay.
We have
Very important point. Thank you for bringing that up.
different cultures, and this makes us, try to be as much as close to them. We have lots of Asian, we have lots of, I would say, Americans, Europeans, Middle Eastern. How to deal with...
And then subcategories even within those.
Exactly.
And every one of those ethnic or cultural backgrounds has an impact because they are used to certain nuances that are particular to that culture or to that minority demographic.
Exactly.
And how do you cannot provide a standard template care in every one of those conditions. And we have that. You're right, because we have like a big concentration of Latinos in Santa
Right.
Ana and elsewhere in Southern California. You have a large concentration of Vietnamese versus
Absolutely.
Chinese.
Absolutely.
Vietnamese in Garden Grove. A larger concentration of Chinese, basically ethnic background in Irvine. You have Persians, Egyptians,
Yep. A lot of
Syrians, different
many
backgrounds
from Middle East,
and that needs to be reflected within how you give your care for seniors.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which sometimes it's a kind of a challenging thing, because
Layers of faith.
Exactly.
How they
This is
basically-
number one.
Yeah.
Type of food.
The
Food.
is
Food.
the number one. Communication, it's something that they are very, very concerned about.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, these people are always so worried about that. I want to put my mom or my dad somewhere that they will be able to talk to the caregiver, because obviously imagine that you are at the age that you are not patient, you need something right now, and then you're
dealing with
communication-
dementia.
Exactly.
You can't even remember. You're stuck on words.
and your caregiver cannot understand what you probably come up with a simple word.
Or you do something action-wise that is so ingrained into your ethnic background or your family dynamic or cultural background, or even we don't even have to go across international borders. Different parts of this country have different nuances and things. And if somebody takes an action that I am not familiar with as a caregiver, I don't even understand where they're coming from, and they can't communicate that to me. Yes, you're right. There has to be an awareness.
Exactly. And not only that, going back to the subject of people are not feeling comfortable to living, taking their mom and dad to the border care home or homes like us, because some people feel very guilty that, oh, my parents been taking care of us for years and years, and now it's our turn to taking care of them. Great, wonderful. But think about this. Are you the one going every single day, giving back to your mom and checking every inch of your mom's or dad's body to see if it's sore? Is it bleeding? Is it blister?
Clean.
I had a resident that she was bleeding internally and for months. And the son who was taking care of her, and she was perfectly fine. He didn't even catch it because he was not the one going at the end of the toilet and clean her.
Kathy, one of the most shocking things that I heard, and it was a learning lesson for me, and only because I'm watching out for stuff like this. Most people wouldn't even see this. Is that I read something about the fact that people basically are dehydrated. seniors get dehydrated because they're not drinking enough water. And you're like, well, they should drink more water. You know, the reason why they're not drinking water, this is an article, the reason why this particular group that they studied wasn't drinking water is because they're having a hard time basically using the toilet, using the bathroom. So in order for them to stop going to the bathroom, they stop drinking.
Exactly.
And so if you're not basically aware of to even look for that, they could be in your own home, and all you can see is that somebody is basically getting emaciated, they're getting dehydrated. You know, all you can tell is try to push water on them. But the core reason is there's a not a shame necessarily, but a discomfort component to this that you need to solve, which is fix your dang bathroom so they can use it easier, or provide some sort of awareness to them that what can I do to help you with that, because they're not drinking water, so they don't want to go to the bathroom because they're having difficulty.
And listen, this is a very important point. It's not only dehydrating.
Yeah.
With this age,
Well,
the UTI,
UTI.
UTI is a big thing in this, and
Right.
then start to develop to more serious
Right.
problems.
My
So,
aunt got UTIs, urinary tract infections, nearly every month because she didn't, I'm sorry to say this, wipe herself well.
Yeah,
She
exactly.
didn't take care of herself.
Right.
And so she was constantly infecting herself, and she sat in her diaper all day long, her adult diaper, and she wondered why she got UTI. And UTIs, I didn't realize, can make you hallucinate.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Disoriented. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sorry for anybody whose sensibilities may be a little offended today that we're talking at this level in depth. I will tell you from personal experience recently, and it's not necessarily making me look forward to more, right? But this is the reality of life. Yeah, those things are actually pretty jarring when you experience them for the first time, and you're doing it in your own home with a loved one that basically you're taking care of. So as much as we want to be there for those that we care about and be there as their caregiver, sometimes we may not be the right solution. At some point, we may need to actually get professional help, and we may actually have to house them somewhere.
Try and
so
be
at that, and so at that point, what are your options? What are the costs? Where do you do it? Educate yourself before you are forced to have your back against the wall and have to make a decision within hours or days, because you're waiting to get somebody discharged because they fell, they broke a hip, they did something, right?
That's right.
Paul, go ahead. What?
You're describing my life exactly with my mom, my dad, and then my aunt. Try and be the person telling your 94-year-old aunt that she doesn't wipe herself well. Try and be the person that's trying to tell your mother why she's getting urinary tract infections over and over again, and that she can't just sit in her diaper all day long.
Yeah, all of a sudden, split second, because of what you're facing or you're seeing, you now have to basically cross that bridge. And nobody told you how to even prepare for it.
The problem is all of this, and think about it, that you have to take the medication, just your normal blood pressure.
Yeah. Well, and
And you forget about it.
Kathy, I get calls from I won't say which pharmacy, but it's a large chain big box pharmacy. I get calls, or texts even, not even calls, where people are reminding me of the fact that I have still a prescription to fill. And I basically have to stop myself and go, well, why would I need to fill it? I haven't even finished the other one. It was prescribed after, tooth surgery, and I used like one pill, and I have the rest of it basically sitting in my... But they're reminding me because they're trying to sell a refill, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, imagine being a person who's in their 80s or 90s that have the beginning of frontal lobe dementia, right? And basically can't remember, but is being prompted to basically refill a prescription. So now... the two things are happening. I better refill it before I cannot refill it, right? So now I have more than I need in the house, and I can't remember whether I took my morning and the afternoon.
But you only had one medication that you need to deal with. Imagine if you have like
it multiplied,
6, 7, 10,
right?
12, and then you get up in the morning, look at it, you
I
think
traveled with my father, and my mother filled out all his medications by the day, and these boxes with the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right? Morning and afternoon. I saw it for myself, where he would forget the morning or the afternoon, and then the next day when he realized that he forgot it, what does he do?
And he was taking a double overdosing
Double dose.
it. Yep. Yeah, we have
Easy overdose.
Yeah.
Easy overdose.
Yeah.
And these are serious medications, Danny, like you were saying, and stuff that has impact. If you're cross-medicating from this and this, you're either canceling out the benefit or you're having side effects or things, and nobody's watching it. Sure. And if somebody's watching and sees somebody hallucinating but doesn't realize it's because of the
UTI or whatever.
Yeah.
Yep. Right.
You know what? I guess that we are getting at end
We're
of the
getting
show,
close, right?
But let
Well,
me
but
tell
I
you
do
this.
want. I will invite you guys because I want you guys to come back. I think the issue of the different cultural background is something we should talk about more. And I can't think of better people to come in and talk about that because that is something that doesn't get discussed. I mean, we all go to a lot of senior activities, right?
Yep.
We don't get a lot of that discussion.
No.
First
That's
of
true.
all, the main thing is that many people, I realize, they don't want to talk about it. They want to sugarcoat it and they want to cover it and they want to hide it. They don't want to bring the subject up. But what I learned
Yeah.
is tough love. If you wanted to have a healthy parents, if you want to have your parents to live longer, you better have a tough love.
Yeah, but what's funny, Kathy, is tough love usually is from the parent, your parent,
But
to you.
now, hey,
now you
listen.
are your parent's parent.
Exactly. Now the life is turned around. Now they are the baby.
I've had to do
and
tough
you
love
are
with
the
my
one-
father recently, yeah.
They, as you know, they always says that when people get older, they go back to be a child again.
Try telling your father, no, you cannot get your own keys to your own car that you paid for with your own money and start it in the garage because if you do, you might be tempted to move it out of the garage and scrape the heck out of the side of the
Rod,
car.
this is the exact story you were just telling us
I was just
before
telling
the
you,
show.
yeah.
About
That-
how you're
and this
taking
is-
care
and,
of it.
and this is the
So-
simple conversation.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
this
yeah.
is not the Dad, we might need to change your pants because something did not get cleaned
Yeah.
correctly.
Right,
Right? When
right,
you are
right.
faced with that situation physically, and you have to go there, how do you have that conversation? How do you discuss it? Yeah, I hats off to anybody who's in senior care, honestly. And it really is not a straightforward thing. You need to be dealing with people that are consciously aware, that have the nuances, have the professional experience, the training, the certification. But that's just the starting point because to your point, to have the heart
Yes, exactly.
to actually provide that service. And there's
You
a
have
lot
to
of people out there, we all know them, that are really involved in this. You know, we honor a lot of them with the Senior Serve Heroes Awards
Right.
every year at the Grove.
Right.
Shout out to Senior Serve for actually taking the effort to acknowledge some of these people that are unsung heroes. And thank you for allowing this show to actually do red carpet. I'm hoping to basically be called to do that this year again. Susan Piperi, if you're listening to this show, I just basically asked you to call me and let's schedule it. But no, seriously, this is something that we don't talk enough about, Kathy.
Because we don't want to talk about it. We are ashamed. We are I have people who are in this field.
Yeah.
They are professional, and when these things happen to their own parents, they ignore it, and they said, "You know what? My dad said something. I cannot even believe that my
And
son."
those are professionals.
And
Yeah.
I'm saying that, hey, wait a minute. You're saying that your dad says something. Don't you think that your dad is starting Alzheimer's? Goes,
Yep.
no.
Right.
no.
It's hard for me to believe, even though I'm in the industry.
Exactly.
Right. So I have to wrap up, but I will tell you two things. This show, we have those conversations.
Yeah.
And we've done them from day one. Paul will tell you.
True,
Okay, we have these conversations. Our first show was about elder abuse, so we don't shy away from this. And anybody who wants to talk about this stuff, because it is important to have these conversations, otherwise we will not be able to navigate the silver tsunami that we are dealing with, that we are completely unprepared for. So, with that being said, I appreciate you guys.
Just want to tell you something. In case we have another chance to talk with you.
Yeah, you are. I'm inviting you already.
I guess it's not only the different cultures, but how to teach families
To deal with
when they have to start.
You're-
This is very important.
You're on. So you
only
just
two
not only
subjects.
just confirm that you're coming back,
I
but
think
you
so.
just set up the agenda for the show.
Thank you.
Well, with that, I will.
I
bid
hope I'll be
everybody
invited.
goodbye.
Go to that's right.
Thank you guys for both being here.
We thank you, Rod. Thank
All right.
you. It was a
And
pleasure.
I'll look forward to
Thank
having
so
you guys
much,
on
man.
once again.
And
Thanks
for-
everybody for being on the Rad Life.
Thank you.
You have been listening to the Rad Life Radio Show with your host and age explorer, Rod Gantos, brought to you on the one and only octalkradio.net. Join us again next week as we continue our journey of discovery into life's challenges, opportunities, options, and all the latest and greatest things that come with getting older.